And welcome back to Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. The good, the bad, and the ugly coming up in a little less than 20 minutes' time. But between now and then, it is our distinct pleasure to welcome on the Goldberg New and Abraham Law Firm hotline, Super Bowl champion Sammy Watkins. How does that sound?
Man, like a dream, man. It sounds amazing, though, man, to win a Super Bowl and to make a couple big plays in the Super Bowl and just the whole season, how it went. Just the best feeling to be in that category as Super Bowl winners. That's something hard to do.
Can't imagine that phrase will ever get old to you, and it's always going to be said with your name. The game, leading up to the game, I mean, you're from here. There's so much pressure on the Super Bowl. You had to buy a bunch of extra tickets. I'm sure everybody who ever knew you was trying to get a hold of you. How hectic was Super Bowl week, Sammy?
Oh, it was insane. Like I said, I think it was one of the best moments of my life. For having my grandparents, having my family, my wife, my kids, my parents, to have every coach that ever coached me be there and just to watch the game, and then had the freaking whole South Florida come to the game. I had all type of people come down from Fort Myers. I'm pretty sure Naples. So this is literally like one of the best moments of my life to have all that support and then to go win it, man. I think this is like the best dream ever.
Sammy Watkins, of course, the pride of South Fort Myers High School. Sammy, I don't know about too many people from Naples. They may still hold a grudge about that state quarterfinal,
I hope not, man. I think a lot of good guys in that game, I think, is even in the NFL. And, Naples been doing it big since they've been winning all these championships. It's a good feeling going down there and get a win, but I hope they're not too upset at South Fort Myers.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Did it ever become just another game? You talked more. If when people talk about watching the film, they talk that maybe you talked a little bit more to your teammates in that game than most games. So, did it ever become just another game, or was it always the Super Bowl, even from the first whistle?
Honestly, I felt like it was just another game, but the energy, the hype of it, we can't ignore that as players. So we definitely turn it into something bigger, because it's the last game of the year. And we definitely hear the hype and the noise, and we could say the Super Bowl is one of the best games ever in life. And I know we played 17 games through the season, but just that feeling, that urge to have one and win one, and how hard we guys out there playing, man, it's just amazing.
This will be the second parade for Sammy in as many weeks. Obviously, the Super Bowl victory parade in Kansas City last week. And this Saturday night, downtown Fort Myers, the Edison Festival of Light Parade. And Sammy returns home as a conquering hero, and he's also the Grand Marshal of the parade. Take us to the Kansas City parade, by the way. I don't know what you were thinking going in to that day last week, but all those people, all that celebration, did it live up to everything you had ever dreamed about?
I think it honestly surpassed everything I dreamed or ever did, as far as football. I did some great things at South, never won it. Did some great things at Clemson, never won it. And then to get on the Kansas City Chiefs and literally win it, and then to go to the parade, and it's literally over, I think, 2 or 3 million people out there. And, we had that opportunity, that chance to be kids and get off the bus and jump around, be wild, and have a couple beers and just enjoy that moment. And that was one of the moments that I think every player and coach can take back with us forever, because we have video clips of it. And that was very big.
Patrick Mahomes was the MVP of the Super Bowl. Which player was the MVP of the parade?
The parade, I would say every wide receiver. I think we had less guys, but we kind of jumped it off with – we just started raging, because like I said, we don't get another opportunity. Then we had all the fans out there. We got off the buses, guys. I think it was kind of snowing, guys taking off their shirts. So it was surreal, and it was one of the the most prolific moments, and I think in a wide receiver, because we literally had coaches running off, DBs, linemen, chugging beers. You got Pat chugging beers. You got Andy Reid chugging beers. So I think it was big.
Sammy Watkins, kind enough to join us here on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Hotline. Much was made of you guys wanting to win it for Andy. You've been blessed. You've had terrific coaches and terrific men, quite frankly, going back to South Fort Myers and Redhead and Hampton and Dixon, and then obviously Dabo at Clemson. And Andy Reid, what is different about him? What is special about Andy?
In this league, it's kind of weird, because it's money involved, and I just feel as money can break or change a coach or any player that's playing out there on that field. And I think over 20 years, every guy I talk to him or played for him or coached for him, you just hear so much good things about him. Then when I go meet him and actually sit down and talk to him, I just feel like he was another great coach, another great person, and he's a real person. He cares about everybody on that team. He cares about the little things, and that would kind of make me want to go out there and play hard for him. And I just feel as, man, he got a real good heart, a good soul, and a good spirit. And he literally told me the plan they had for me as far as coming there playing in my career. And he said, we're going to get a Super Bowl. And I think that's one of the most realest things you can do as a coach. And when I was even down, he always lift me up, with just staying confident. And you are great. You are a number one receiver. All these good things that he helped me with. Because, without getting the ball, you kind of get weary here and there. But he always helped me stay positive mentally. And literally, he helped my career. And I think that's one of the best coaches that I ever had as far as, the other guys that coached me.
Sammy, I had read about the pitch that he and Brett Veach made saying that you were going to win championships. I guess I would just imagine that anybody talking to a player would give a speech similar to that. What made you think when Andy Reid said it was genuine?
Like I said, I think it was the conversations and what he wanted out of me. And he told me my plan. And literally, I think only one other person that ever did that was Coach Dabo. And I just kind of reverted back to that. Like, I just have unbelievable faith that he was going to put me in the best situation, but also put everybody in the best situation to win. And, the way he coached us, the way he talked the whole season just kind of added up with everything he was saying, even in training camp. And then it got to the point I was like, man, this is kind of insane. How did Coach Reid foresee all this crazy stuff? You know what I mean? So I just have unbelievable faith because everything he said we was going to do this season, we did it. And that's kind of rare.
Sammy, how tough was it for you if it was a year ago? You left the Rams to come to the Chiefs. The Rams end up in the Super Bowl. You guys lose the AFC Championship game in overtime at home. And so you had the Super Bowl in which you could have been in it either number of ways. And then, so was it tough putting last year aside and coming into this year? And then Mahomes gets hurt in October. I mean, how tough has the last year been before it all gelled?
Oh, it was hurtful. Just to go to the third round and lose and literally thought we could have possibly won it. It was just a couple calls. And then to watching the Rams, I was honestly happy for those guys because I've been around those guys for a year. And Coach Sean McVay really helped me out. I felt like be healthy the whole season. I scored 9 touchdowns, I think, when I was there. A lot of great players. So I was honestly happy for them. But for when we lost, man, that was like my pride, my heart, my soul. Just like I was in the shell for like 3-4 weeks. I had to bounce back. And but ultimately, man, just happy for everyone that got to play in the Super Bowl. And then, leading to Pat getting hurt and having to fight back and having to win without him, I think, 1 or 2 games. And that was hard. But as we know, athletes, we all get hurt, and a lot of players have to step up and make those plays. And, when he came back, I think we won 9 in a row. And that's what you call a winner right there.
Sammy, obviously you've had some injuries, but I know you said all players get hurt. But at the end of the year, you talk to players that don't win the Super Bowl, they say they're hurt for a few months. Does it hurt a hell of a lot less this year than it's ever hurt before at the end of a season?
Oh, man, you just said I don't think I'm hurt at all. don't think I need no tweaks, no nothing. My body feel amazing. I literally talked to my agent like, man, something got to be going on. Like, my body not aching. I'm not being lazy, lounging around. Every day I'm waking up at like 7:30 and literally going to work out. So, man, I hope Super Bowl add a couple more, years to my career so I can play about 15 to 20 years. And, man, like I said, this is one of the best moments and best feelings of my life.
Man, that's a hell of a drug, winning the Super Bowl, because you gave an interview leading up to the Super Bowl going, man, I may need some time off just to heal up and rest up. That's a hell of a drug you guys have bottled up right now.
I think it is, man. Like I said, I think it's really my whole family, my kids, my wife. We just been on a high, and it's one of the best feelings ever, and I hope this high stays. We possibly can go win it again, and I can have another healthy career. Another healthy season. And just stay on this up right now and ride this wave.
Well, obviously that's something you're going to get to because we know about the contract and the business will set in at some point. How do you handle the business decisions? How do you try not to let it be personal when these things go on?
Just going through being traded before and, knowing how the business works, I really don't take heed to it. I honestly think it'll work out in the best favor of myself and the Kansas City Chiefs. And I really allow my agent to do all the talking and the work. But, at this point, I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm praying that, that everything happens for the betterment of us winning another championship. I think if we can get the key players back and, we can, whatever they do with Pat and sign the key guys back, and we can win another one. And I talked to coach, and that's what the objective was. And all the other stuff, the contract and all the other stuff, I kind of leave to the agency, and I just focus on football and hope for the best.
Sammy, obviously you're the pride of Southwest Florida, and you're going to be a Grand Marshal of the Edison Festival of Light Parade Saturday night. At the beginning of last decade, you were graduating from South Fort Myers High School. I mean, have you had a moment even to reflect? Okay, and maybe it'll be when you're riding in the parade that it's been a hell of a 10 years. And what is it that growing up in Southwest Florida means to you?
Yeah, like you said, every time I go back, I kind of reflect. When I go back to my grandparents, my neighborhood. When I go work out with one of my high school coaches or see one of my high school friends, I always look back and be like, man, life is moving so fast. And saying sometimes we forget to stay in the moment and enjoy the moments. And it's so surreal that I'm going back and having a parade in my hometown and being in front of, the 239 and my people in general is like one of the biggest blessings. And growing up there, was I think the best thing I ever could do. I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly in my neighborhood, and I think that pivotal point helped me out, and it showed me you do have good people in this world that want to see you do successful. Just showing how many people came to the games. I think just all around South Florida and Fort Myers and Naples, we all have some special people.
Sammy, you talked about it. It was obviously very different and goes pretty fast. Was there a moment, you talked about being a pro and getting traded, was that it? Was there a moment at Clemson in your junior year maybe where you kind of knew it was time for the next step? Was there ever an it moment where you kind of realized you went from being the South Fort Myers High kid and the Clemson Tiger to going, this is now a job? Did that ever occur to you, or did that not happen until you were in the NFL?
It didn't happen until I got in the NFL, and I think that's kind of what made me back off or even liking football at that point, because I felt like as a kid, I was able to be a kid my whole career in high school. I was able to have fun with it. I was able to be a kid at Clemson, and then when you get in the NFL, you might be around a bunch of guys that's 35, 36, 32, 27, 28, and, it's all about the seriousness of it. It's no playing. It's all about keeping your body right, eating the right way, going home, going to sleep. And felt like that kind of took the fun away from me. Then you're talking about money, get involved, millions of dollars. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on within your family, a lot of things changing in life. I didn't like that aspect of it. I just kind of went in the shell. And, when you go in the shell, and you're negative about just about everything. Injuries started to happen, and other injuries started piling on. And then once I started to just accept, that I was chosen and blessed to do this, and that I can have fun with it, no matter how other guys have been treating it, and really thank God and thank Jesus and thank everyone that helped me get to the point that I was at. I think since then I've grown a lot to love football and literally have fun and literally allow myself to be that kid that I was in Clemson and enjoy it for what it is instead of worrying about the money, the contracts, and millions of dollars. I think that takes a toll on God's mental health, and it's soon take it. If you're not right mentally, your body's not gonna be right. And I think I'm so happy that what space I'm in now to where I can play football and forget about the money and what's going on within those confinements of, contracts and all the other stuff.
Have you watched the game since you won? And how much of it do you vividly remember? Because we've had conversations over the years with people who played in the Super Bowl, and oftentimes they say it was a blur. Just wondering, have you watched it, and how much of it are you still holding on to?
Definitely did watch it, but I think I'm like the other people, man. It's like that game ended so quick, and it's like, boom, what the freak just happened? And then, you just go on from there to partying, to clubbing, to being with your guys, and, man, it was such a blur. Some things I don't remember, and certain things I'm like, man, did that happen? And, man, I was moving fast. But in the game, it felt like I was moving, like, really slow. So, yeah, it's definitely a moment that I might always go back to and watch that game and be like, man, we really, Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, we really won the Super Bowl. That's something big and special in this whole world, and that's one of the things that's I'm going to hold on to forever.
We all see that quarterback you play with and the throws he makes and the talent he has. What's the one thing we don't see that you do that makes him even more special?
I think his confidence, his mindset. It's different from when you go on with a quarterback out there that, that literally don't want to take over the game. This kid want to take over the game. He want to throw big balls, long balls. He want to win, and I literally see him get down 3-4 times in the playoffs and literally be like, hey, we're going to win this game. We're going to come back and win this game, talking to everybody, being positive. He never seemed to be rattled. He gets up, I think, 4:30 in the morning every single day and leave the stadium at 7 or 8, going over hours. I'm the type of guy that might get in at 8 and leave at like 3 or 4. This guy getting up at 4:30 and literally taking on the whole game plan, what he don't like, what he do like, knowing every coverage, knowing every check. And I think he's only 24 years old. I think that's big that's special. And to literally walk around with the weight of the world on your shoulders and, everybody knowing who you are, seeing you out, you can't eat, you study signing stuff for millions of people, you're staying humble. I think that's somebody that's a special kid, and he was chosen to do what he's doing now.
Did you know he was going to you? Was that called for you on the game-winning drive there when you beat Sherman to the inside for the big play? Was that designed for you?
Definitely wasn't designed. Like I said, I think, once you're in that moment and you're kind of connected and you kind of know that feeling like, okay, you reading the coverage. I think this kid, like I said, he's brilliant. He's reading the safety. The safety shade over to Tyreek Hill. And I'm in the same mindset, like, the ball is going to come to me. I seen me and Sherman one-on-one, so I did my best move ever to where I had to beat him inside, and me and Pat connected on one of I would think the biggest plays of the game.
You talked about watching Davante Adams make a similar move and where he had vulnerability. Does the rookie Sammy Watkins make that play?
No, I don't think he would have been ready for the moment or even probably looked at the coverage and thinking the ball come to him. I think that guy would have been more, I'm going to go outside release and, he's going to throw the ball to someone else. And I understood the situation that we was in. I think we were on the 40 or the 50. That was kind of our shot play. And I think, early in my career, I probably would have, just took a bad release and thinking he's not throwing me the ball to where now I know he's going to throw me the ball. I know I have an opportunity to get the ball. And that's why I think the difference between being a rookie and where I'm at now, I actually know the game. I know coverages, and I know how to get open in different situations.
Sammy, first off, thanks so much for your time. Secondly, congratulations. Third, soak up
Yes, sir.
a return to the 239 and being the Grand Marshal of the Edison Festival of Light Parade Saturday night. And on a personal note, my daughter went to South, and she was a
Oh, man,
freshman.
that's amazing.
She was a freshman when you were a freshman at Clemson, and the very time you came back to school when you were on break, she asked you to autograph something, and you did. You autographed like a bow in her hair, and she has gotten rid of most everything from high school except for that bow. And I called her after you won the Super Bowl and said that bow just got worth a lot more money.
For sure. Till I said hi.
Will do. Sammy, all the best. Thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sammy Watkins, Grand Marshal of the Hometown Parade. Mark, life doesn't get a whole lot better than that when you really think about it.
No, that's called being on top, David.
And Sammy Watkins, kind enough to join us on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Law Firm Hotline. Local people, local practice, local knowledge, Goldberg-Law.com. The good, the bad, and the ugly, and what's on tap as we put this Thursday to bed. Thanks so much for listening. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.